Hey, what's up, PDX Guitar Freak? And I'm going to talk to you about the EVH Striped Series guitars. These are made by Fender under the EVH brand name in Mexico. And Eddie Van Halen's relationship with Fender goes back several years now. Prior to that, he was with Peavey for what felt like a very long time, especially on the amplifier side. The 5150 amps had been out since the early 90s, and then later in their relationship they would come out with the Peavey Wolfgang line of guitars. Now Fender makes EVH Wolfgang guitars, very similar to the Peaveys, and 5150 amps, the 5153s. It's the evolution of the 5150 amps. And he actually plays those live, the 5153s and one of the Wolfgang EVH guitars. As far as I know, he does not play these. He simply allows them to be made under the EVH brand name with the trademarked stripes. But regardless, it's an Eddie-inspired guitar all the way, and a lot of fun to play, in my opinion. It's probably worth noting the original Fender Van Halen product. The relationship began in 2007 with a limited edition Frankenstrat guitar. There were 300 made. They were very impressive looking instruments. You know, if you look at the pictures of it, the worn-in neck, all the little scratches and dings on the body, the cigarette burns on the headstock, the 1971 quarter under the bridge, very important in 71. The reflectors on the back, just inch by inch, that thing was a very impressive replica of the Frankenstrat guitar in its red, white, and black worn-in stage. However, those were $25,000 a piece, which is very expensive for a guitar, unless you're talking about some vintage, Les Paul or Strat or something. But fortunately, these guitars are much more budget friendly. They come in at about $900 US at the moment, but they should be a lot cheaper. I mean, this is a very simple guitar in its construction and material, and you are paying in part for the Van Halen name. But again, I would not have bought it if I thought it was outrageous by any means. And we'll talk a little bit about some other Fender guitars made in Mexico that you can kind of compare it to get an idea of what you're paying for it. The body is made of basswood, which is a relatively light and soft wood. On the positive side, that means it's a relatively light guitar. On the negative side, it means it can dent more easily than a harder wood. But I'm not that concerned with this guitar getting a few dents or scratches. I think it would just add some character to it, but that's a minor point. But if my kids are watching, it doesn't mean that I want you to come into my den and start banging on it. Thanks. The thing about basswood is, some people don't like its tonal properties. They think, in comparison to some more expensive woods, that it's kind of flatter sounding, duller. But it's known for having a good and strong mid-range, which is important for lead playing, in my opinion. And you see a lot in super strat type guitars, and I think it works very well. The paint job's got a nice paint job, nice gloss to it too, and it comes in 3 different color combinations. You've got the red, white, and black, which this they did a good job of recreating the pattern of stripes on the Frankenstrat. But when I look at this, I don't think of the Frankenstrat. I really think more of the Kramer era of Van Halen guitars in the 80s. Probably the most well-recognized one was the one that had 5150 adorned on it. There's a picture of it. And you know, I mean, the reason it reminds me of it is because it's so clean, and because of the format. It's just got the Floyd Rose, a humbucker on the Strat style body. Now the Kramer body was shaped a little bit different. I mean, still Strat inspired, but a little contoured, a little different. And of course, it had the banana headstock. This has got the Fender Strat headstock, but still, it reminds me of the Kramer because it's so clean and because of the design. And you know, that was the original Super Strat trend. Was the 80s started. You know, people would just slap a Floyd Rose and a humbucker on a Strat style guitar, and so it's got that, you know, nostalgic appeal, taking me back to when I first started guitar and what everyone was trying to do. And then, you know, later in the 80s, Ibanez really kind of took over the shredder market with, you know, the RGs and those other guitars where they had the humbucker, single coil humbucker design was one of them that was really popular. But this was the original Super Strat trend, this type of guitar. The other paint jobs available, you have the original guitar, the white and black, which was the Frankenstrat before the red paint was applied. You can see it on the cover of the first album. And then you have the black and yellow, often referred to as the Bumblebee, which is on the back of the second album. And I'll tell you what, it was really hard making a choice between which guitar I wanted, because they were all are so iconic, and you know, they all represent that early Van Halen you know, guitar history. And it was really hard. I thought that I would have gone for the black and yellow. Some people may have seen in my earlier videos, I've got a black and yellow Yamaha RG, or at least I made it black and yellow. I tried to hot rod it. And then I would have thought I would have got the white and black, and then this one last, but then when I saw it, there was something about it that just clicked with me, and I said, nope, that's the one. Still really hard to make a choice. The neck, it's a completely maple neck and maple fretboard, quarter sawn, graphite reinforced, 25.5-inch scale, 22 jumbo frets, and it's got a compound radius 12 to 16 inches, which creates a flat fretboard. Couple that with the jumbo frets, and it makes for some nice fast playing. Helps facilitate that. The neck also has a little wheel truss rod adjustment thing right here, which is very convenient for making minor adjustments. Of course, with any Floyd style guitar, Floyd Rose equipped guitar, you have to have a locking nut. Floyd Rose locking nut, string bar retainer here on the classic Strat shaped headstock, EVH logo. You might not be able to see this, but EVH tuning pegs. It's got the little EVH brand name on there, and then an EVH neck plate, specially designed to add 7.6% more resonance and sustain than your typical neck plate. I'm full of it, I'm just kidding. I had to make a joke out of that because on the website, on the specs, it calls out specifically that it's a EVH neck plate. But that's cool. I like having the EVH logo everywhere. It's kind of funny. One other thing I should point out about the neck, mine came with the tiniest bit of fret wire overhang, because at some point the neck got a little dry and condensed a bit. But it's very, very minor, very subtle. I wouldn't even notice it unless I stopped and went, I can feel that a little. And actually it was a little more prominent when I first took the guitar home, but it seems to have worked itself in a little bit. Very minor note. And then the bridge is your, you know, it's an EVH Floyd Rose. But it works very well. It's modern Floyd Rose, works very well. Comes equipped with the D-Tuna device. If you're not familiar with that, that's a device that Eddie patented, which allows you to drop your low E string down to D really quickly by pulling out on that, and then push it back in to get to E. The thing about the D-Tuna is, this is the first time I've owned a D-Tuna, and in order to get it to work properly, you have to make sure that the bridge is stabilized so that you can't pull up on the bar and go down. And there's a couple ways to do that. I mean, most people I've found will simply lower the bridge down to the body. There's no recessed cavity in the body. Again, that's another note why you're not supposed to be pulling up on the bar. You could try setting the bridge up that way if you wanted, but again, to get the D-Tuna right, you'll either want to lower this down to the body, or of course, there's the, you can get a stabilizing block and put that in the back. But if you're not used to doing those kind of adjustments, I would take it somewhere to make sure you don't screw up your guitar. Again, I'm not telling you to make those adjustments, I'm telling you that you should consider taking it to someone to make those adjustments for you to have the D-Tuna work properly. Otherwise, if you don't have the bridge stabilized and you engage the D-Tuna, the other strings will also move just a tiny bit, but as you know, especially when you're playing with gain, high gain, a tiny bit of out of tune, it sucks, right? It makes it sound horrible. So you want to get that set up properly. Some people, that's not a big deal. They don't care. They'll just engage it and then they'll do the micro tunings, because most likely you're going to be doing it in between songs. Whatever. The pickup is an EVH Wolfgang pickup, and I would classify this as a high output pickup, but I'd say kind of moderate high. It's not annoyingly high, where I say annoyingly because I hate those pickups that are so loud that you lose the dynamics and it becomes just too smooth and mushy. In my opinion, I like it to be a little more punchy, a little more dynamics, and I think this does a pretty good job. If you're used to your typical PAF Pro type pickup, it might seem pretty loud though, pretty high output. Has one volume knob, says tone on it, the old Van Halen joke. But I think it's because no one uses the tone knobs on these types of guitars anyway. And what else can I tell you about the guitar? I think its playability, like I said, it's the next designed to help really facilitate fast playing and stuff. It's really smooth sounding, feeling. I love it. The tone. So I think it's funny when people do reviews of guitars and they play clips, because unless you have the same rig as me, I don't know how much it helps. It might help a little bit, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to play some clips just so people don't say, dude, why didn't you play more? And what I'm using is, in these clips, is my Pod HD500 processor. And I'll put the names of the patches, which you can download from the Line 6 Custom Tone website. I'll put the names of them in the description, and in the video, in case you like those patches. And one of them is kind of a new one. I took the tread plate Pat amp, which is a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, and I combined it with the Plexi head, which is based on the Marshall Plexi Super Lead. Kind of took them and combined them, the smoothness of the Boogie with the percussiveness of the 59, and I'm having a lot of fun with that particular combination. So I'll play you some dirty sounding patches and then some clean sounding patches. For the first sound test here, I'm going to do some Van Halen riffs, and this is the Mesa Plexi Hybrid patch for the Pod HD500. If you're going to try out this patch, keep in mind that I have the expression pedal set up within the patch to do some things. Basically, when you're in the expression pedal up or open position, it's intended for rhythm playing, and as you step on the expression pedal, it increases the gain in the mids, lowers the bass, increases the delay level and changes some of the delay timings. And the intent is that when you step down on the expression pedal, it's supposed to be more appropriate for lead playing. So again, expression pedal up, rhythm playing, expression pedal down, lead playing. So here it is in the rhythm mode with the expression pedal up, and in addition to the delay, I've got the plate reverb on too. So next up I'm going to play for you that same patch in the lead setting when you step on the expression pedal all the way. So again, you've got the gain boosted, the mid boosted, the delay's been more dramatized, and you'll see that I go for a very percussive, in-your-face sort of lead sound because I want something that really cuts through the mix. And it kind of sounds, it's very similar to that sound as if you're putting your ear up to the cone of your speaker. Not that I recommend doing that when you're playing, but that's kind of what I'm going for here. And you'll notice that on my screen that in the chain within the patch I also have added in a tube screamer effect and the phase 90, but you're not going to hear that during this clip. I only occasionally use the tube screamer when I just need a little more gain, although I think you'll see that I have more than I need. And then the phase 90 also occasionally for lead playing like early Van Halen stuff. So here it is in the lead setting. And then as an alternative to that Mesa Plexi Hybrid patch, I created one that I call Mesa Plexi Hybrid Lite. And it's basically the same patch with one minor difference, or one difference, and that is when the expression pedal is in the up open setting for rhythm, the gain is backed off a little more. And so here's what that sounds like. Now next I'll play you some clean guitar playing. Now I gotta tell you, I've never been a big fan of humbucking pickups used for clean playing unless they're in a split coil mode. I much prefer the sound of split coils or single coil pickups for clean playing, and so I probably won't be using this guitar for songs that require a lot of clean playing. I really bought this guitar for the purpose of just playing that balls out heavy early Van Halen sound. But for the sake of fair sound testing, I will go ahead and play you just something. This is a Pod HD500 patch that I call Clean Twin. Again, just for the purposes of hearing how it sounds clean. Here you go. So when talking about the value of the EVH Stripe Series guitars, basically what you're getting for the money, I thought it would be most fair to compare it to other Fender guitars that are made in Mexico that come with a Floyd and humbucker and the bridge. The two that immediately pop out are the standard Strat HSS Floyd Rose, HSS standing for humbucker single coil, and then the blacktop Strat HH Floyd Rose, which HH is for humbucker. And I put together a little chart here, which is going to take you through some of the major, components of the guitar, major parts of the guitar, as a comparison. So for the body, the EVH has basswood. The other two guitars have alder, which is the most common wood found in Stratocasters. The necks are all maple, 25.5-inch scale. The EVH fretboard is the same maple, whereas the other two guitars have a rosewood fretboard. You can see the darker fretboard there. The radius, as I mentioned, the EVH has the 12 to 16-inch compound radius. The others have a 9.5-inch radius. So again, the EVH has got that flatter fretboard. The EVH comes with 22 jumbo frets,
whereas the standard Strat HSS comes with 21 medium jumbo frets and the black top comes with 22 medium jumbo. And again, the EVH has compound radius and the jumbo larger frets. It equates to a faster feeling neck. Each one comes with a Floyd Rose or Floyd Rose licensed bridge. The bridge pickup, again, the EVH comes with that Wolfgang pickup, which if you were to buy it by itself is about $170 US. The standard Strat HSS comes with what they call standard humbucking pickup, and the blacktop comes with what they're calling hot vintage Alnico. From my experience, guitars at this price range, the price range that the standard Strat HSS and the blacktop come in, usually the pickups are okay, but not the best, and so typically I would replace them. Again, I haven't played those guitars, so this is kind of a high level, limited comparison because I haven't sat down with those before, so I can only talk in general terms. Middle pickup, again, EVH doesn't have a middle pickup, only has the bridge pickup. The HSS, standard Strat HSS comes with standard single coil, they call it, in the middle pickup position. The blacktop doesn't have a middle pickup. Neck pickups, again, EVH doesn't have one. The standard Strat HSS comes with their standard single coil, and the blacktop again has a hot vintage Alnico in that neck pickup position. For controls, the EVH just has the one knob for volume. The Strat HSS has a 5-position switch, volume and 2-tone knobs. The blacktop has a 5-position switch, volume and 2-tone knobs. So, put aside the knobs, just looking at the pickups, obviously the two alternatives to the EVH both have much more to offer in respect to tonal versatility. But again, the EVH is designed for one thing, just to rock like early Van Halen style where you just use the bridge pickup. So again, what you do sacrifice is that versatility that you get in the other guitars. Colors, again, we've gone over what the EVH comes with, red, white, black, the white, black, or the black, yellow. The HSS has some nice color options, blue, black, red, sunburst, and wine. And then the blacktop, not so exciting. It's got black and it's got gray. In terms of the costs, again, $900 for the EVH. The Strat HSS is $700 US, and the blacktop is $500 US. You can see there's quite a price difference between the blacktop and the EVH. Now, again, I have not tried the blacktop or the Strat HSS, so I can't say whether or not they play comparably or as nicely as the EVH. You'll have to try that, figure out that yourself. Again, I just wanted to provide you with sort of a high-level overview of the different parts of the guitar components, so you can get a somewhat of a comparison when making a decision. Now, another thing to keep in mind is, again, while I think you're paying a little bit for the Van Halen name, if you're going to take something like the blacktop and hot rod it and put in a really nice bridge pickup, put in the D-Tuna, give it a paint job, cool paint job, that's going to set you back a little bit, right? Could be a couple $100 when you consider time and labor. So keep that in mind when making your own comparison. So there you go. That's my review of the EVH Striped Series guitar from Fender under the EVH brand. And as I mentioned, this guitar is really designed for Van Halen fans or people that want to have a Van Halen style guitar in their collection. And the best way to figure out if it's right for you is to go down to your local shop if they carry it and try it out for yourself. And of course you want to try it on your own rig to make sure that it works there too. Anyway, hopefully this was informative. If you have questions, I'll attempt to answer them as time allows. Until next time, rock on.